For almost a decade, Brazil's infrastructure was kind of like a sleeping giant. Well, now, a trillion reais gold rush is waking it up big time. And in this explainer, we're going to break down how this massive wave of investment is totally reshaping an entire industry. All right, let's get right into it.
So the scale we're talking about here is just staggering. Brazil's infrastructure market, it's not just big, it's the multi-trillion real backbone of a continental-sized economy. Think about it. The roads, the railways, the ports, the power lines. Everything else depends on this stuff. And for a long, long time, that backbone was under some serious strain.
Yeah, for almost 10 years, the whole story was really one of neglect. You had experts warning that the country needed to pour hundreds of billions, with a B of reais, into the sector every single year just to patch things up, let alone build for the future. The potential? Oh, it was always there, just simmering under the surface. But the money? It just wasn't.
So, okay, after all that time on the back burner, what suddenly lit the fuse? What sparked this massive, massive turnaround?
Well, it wasn't just one thing. It was more like a powerful combination of forces that finally unleashed this ocean of new investment. So let's take a look at the key drivers behind this whole boom.
What we're seeing here is really a perfect storm for growth. You've got new government programs running alongside these super important legislative changes, and that's attracting a huge influx of foreign cash. Then you add to that a new, more aggressive policy on concessions, which are basically long-term contracts for private companies to build and run public infrastructure, and boom, you have the recipe for an industry reborn.
And the numbers, they're just mind-boggling. The government's new Growth Acceleration Program, or PAC as it's called, is set to pump 1.7 trillion reais into the sector. Let that sink in. A trillion. That's not just a number on a page, it's this powerful signal to the entire world that Brazil is dead serious about rebuilding itself from the ground up. So where is all this money actually going? Well, you can see a pretty clear picture right here. The biggest ticket items, oil and gas, for sure. That's followed by massive investments in highways and railways, and power transmission is getting a huge boost too. These are the core arteries of the economy, right? And they're about to get a once-in-a-generation upgrade.
And listen, it's not just domestic money that's flooding in. As this CNI study points out, international investors are paying very close attention. You've got Brazil's sheer size, its powerful economy, and its growing role in the global energy transition. It all makes it a prime spot for capital that's looking for the next big thing.
But look, these big picture numbers only tell half the story. With all this cash pouring in, what does it actually mean for jobs, for skills, and for the people who are going to be building this new future?
And this is where we get to the central paradox of this whole boom. The explosion in new projects. It's creating a historic demand for jobs. But at the same time, it's revealing a critical shortage of people with the right skills to actually fill them.
So just how directly does that investment translate into jobs? It's pretty amazing, actually. Studies show that for every single million reais invested in civil construction,
It creates 33 new jobs. And get this, about half are directly in the sector itself, but the rest ripple out across the entire supply chain, from materials to logistics. This thing is a powerful, powerful job creation engine.
And the result? Well, this indicator for expected employment in infrastructure has just rocketed to its highest level in over a decade. We're not just talking about companies thinking about hiring. No, they are actively gearing up to hire on a massive scale.
And there's the problem. While all these opportunities are exploding, companies are hitting a major wall. The very boom they've been waiting for is being threatened by a shortage of qualified, skilled people to get the work done. See, a decade of underinvestment didn't just affect the roads and railways. It affected training and development too.
Okay, let's see how this actually plays out in the real world. For these new concessions, hiring happens in waves. First up, you need the finance pros to even figure out if a project makes sense. Then, you need the operations talent to get things off the ground. And finally, you bring in the efficiency experts to optimize everything for the long haul. Every single one of these stages demands a different and highly sought-after skill set.
Now, this skills shortage, it isn't just about a lack of bodies to throw at a project. It's about the very nature of the work itself changing. The construction site of tomorrow is being completely reshaped by technology, by data, and by a whole new kind of talent.
Yeah, that old image of pure manual labor, it's giving way to a new reality of automation and digitalization.
It's less about just building a road and way more about managing a complex digital ecosystem. Operations aren't siloed and physical anymore. They're integrated and totally driven by data, right from day one.
I mean, the modern infrastructure professional isn't just an engineer with a hard hat anymore. They're a project manager using tablets and drones to coordinate these incredibly complex operations right there on site. The toolbox has officially gone digital.
And the tech driving all this? It's a total game changer. You've got the Internet of Things, or IoT, automating everything from toll booths to cranes. You have digital resources and satellites helping to speed up project delivery. And data analytics? That's becoming the essential tool for managing these massive, complex projects, without going over budget or falling behind schedule.
And then there's one more layer to all of this: sustainability. The rise of financing tools like green bonds, which, fund environmentally friendly projects, is creating entirely new career paths. All of a sudden, there's this huge demand for environmental specialists who can help companies navigate all the regulations and qualify for this cheaper credit. It just adds yet another squeeze to an already tight talent market.
So we're left with this massive question, right? You've got trillions of reais on the table, an unprecedented demand for jobs, and a complete revolution in the skills that are needed. The biggest question facing Brazil isn't how to build its future, it's who is going to build it. And the answer to that question is going to determine whether this whole gold rush leads to a golden age or just a massive, massive missed opportunity.